Good morning, this is Kim Hammer with your devotion, taken from 1 Samuel chapter 17 up to verse 40. Have you ever had somebody come in and try to steal the joy of your living? Have you ever had somebody come in and try to cause you to lose heart over something that was going on, maybe something that they had attempted to do themselves but had not been successful, and therefore they didn't think that you could be successful in doing the same thing? Such it was with David as he encountered Goliath in 1 Samuel chapter 17. He came in verse 32 after having listened to a lot of the conversations. He made this statement. He said, "Let no one lose heart on account of this Philistine." Well, they had all already lost heart. He was just stating the obvious, but he was trying to be a source of encouragement to them that, look, there's no reason for you to feel defeated. Even though for 40 days this Philistine, the Goliath, had come out and had challenged them, and no one had stepped up to the challenge, David wanted them to know that, look, just because you've been doing it the wrong way doesn't mean that God doesn't have a way in order for you to experience victory. One of the things that the world wants us to do is to lose heart in the battles that we are in the midst of, especially the battles that we are fighting for the Lord. The Bible tells us in Matthew chapter 6 and verse 21, "For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also." One of the things that David realized that the others had not realized was that they were putting their heart and thus their treasures in the wrong place. He was putting his heart and his confidence and everything of value about him in what God was going to do for him, instead of being sized up by this Goliath. Sometimes even our own around us will lose heart, and they will put their treasures in the world, and they will try to draw us down with them because they have failed in their efforts, so they think that automatically we are going to fail in ours. If you notice in the verses, and let me give them to you, we kind of see this thought process played out. In verse 16, first of all, David tried to get in their heads for 40 days. He would come out and he would challenge them for 40 days, and it was working because no one felt that they could go out against Goliath. And then you take a look at verse 25, where Saul would give his daughter in marriage and exempt the family from taxes. He was trying to bribe somebody to go out there and to fight him, not because God had equipped them and not because God had promised them something, but instead Saul was trying to bribe everybody by offering his daughter in marriage and trying to offer them the opportunity to not have to pay taxes for them and their family for the rest of their life. He wasn't counting on the treasures of God that he had stored up for anyone that was willing to step out against Goliath. He was trying to count on his treasures here on earth in order to get somebody to have the heart to go out and fight against Goliath. And the thing that's interesting is no one stepped up to take the offer, and that wasn't what motivated David to step up and to take the offer as well. The treasures of this world cannot replace what God puts in your heart to do according to his will for your life. The next thing you notice is in verse 38, Saul tried to weigh David down with the equipment and with the logic of this world when he tried to equip him with all the armor that he had to offer. And then you go on and take a look at verse 28. Some will misinterpret your motivation, just like David's brothers misinterpreted his presence for being there. They thought he just wanted to come and see the battle and get involved, when in reality God had sent him there. He didn't send himself there. But nothing would deter David from what God had put on his heart. Notice in verse 39 he says, "Because I am not used to them." He was not used to what the world was offering up. The same world that had already taken the hearts of even some of God's own, he would not allow to be put on him. The lesson in all this is this, that if we don't want to lose heart, we don't need to find the solutions to the challenges that are in front of us by what's offered up by the world. We need to take what is offered up by God and put that into the scenario, and then we will not lose heart when God sends us out into the battle that we're going to face today. Don't let anybody talk you out of what God has commissioned you to do, because he will give you the strength in your heart to do what he has sent you into the battlefield to do.